Hello again, friends, and welcome back to your full-time show, part of the Matchday Ticket. My name is Martin, your host. Welcome back. Before I go any further, guys, just to help spread the message and get this to as many Ipswich Town fans as we possibly can, if you're watching on Twitter, please retweet the link or retweet my post to your timeline so people will see it. If you're watching on Facebook, please share it to your timeline so people will see it. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, the home of Ipswich Town content on the interwebs, hit subscribe if you haven't yet done so. I'm going to run through some messages on the screen before I bring back my contributors, and we'll find out and see who else drops by the bar tonight. But so far, we've got Emerson Fairweather. Not really sure how I feel about that. Fallen at the first hurdle of all three cup competitions. Nick Muller, has Flynn Downs left or is it Bull? Next question. Third place finish. Lambert's best league finish as Ipswich manager. Good vibes. Johnny Duncan wants the link. Hey, Johnny wants in on the action. Sore feet. I'm fuming. Not blaming kids. Evans and Lambo need to get out of the club. And Louis Sharp. Goodbye, Lambert. Set the young lads up to foul tonight when there's crap trophy. Is it past 9? No, my bad. Trophy was only hope we had of silverware. Embarrassing. Goodbye, Lambert. Enough is enough. And on that case, I will bring in the man, the myth, the legend. He is the walking, talking promoter of fizzy drinks, Mr. Neil Mowles.
Hello there.
Hello. We have opened another can. Tell the viewers at home, tell the barflies what it is you're drinking tonight.
Nice bit of orange, this.
Orange
sugar-free
soda. Who loves orange soda? Neil loves orange soda. And that is a great place to have frozen. What a face. What an absolute epic face. George, no excuses for Lambert. Nick Muller, can we count this game? Matt Phillips, waste of time. And Facebook user, pointless, get Lambert gone. So, before I bring Steve in, tell me, how do you feel after watching what can only be described as, I don't know, describe it for me. What did you watch and what did you think?
Second half was actually a lot better, especially after some substitutions happened. Brown and Manley? Yeah, they looked great.
Yes, Manley looked a decent prospect when he came on. Brown has been doing bits and pieces in the under-23s for a while and looked a handful. Are you upset about going out of this cup?
No.
No, not even one bit.
What? So we get some more games to play? Is that it?
Well, we get more opportunities to watch the under-23s play in the senior team.
If they're missing kicking of football, they'll just have more training sessions.
Yes, and they're run by a Borussia Dortmund legend. And on that note, we'll bring in Steve Thomson, Paul Lambert's biggest fan.
No.
Just I set you up there.
Why?
I'll ask you the same question as I've asked Neil. Are you upset about going out of the Papa John's? Better pizza, better ingredients, still the same cup?
I'm not annoyed about going out of the cup because at least we can focus on the league now, even though that went really well last year. I'm more annoyed at the way we went out. It wasn't even like we went out fighting, just set the kids up, sod it. If we at least played a strong team and still went out, I'd be pissed off. But I'm more annoyed about the way we went out, to be honest, rather than the fact that we went out. So,
weren't you happy the way Saziba, Gibbs, and Manley linked up?
They did look good. To be fair, Brown looked good. Saziba
Brown
looked good.
on the right, yeah.
There's some good. You said the second half was a lot better. We had 7-8 corners, I think, at the end. Not very good ones, but they looked strong or stronger going forwards than they did in the first half. There was no final product there. I was a little disappointed with Simpson. I expected more from him. But there was just, I don't know. I don't even know what to say, to be honest. I paid £10 for that.
I know. That's exactly how I feel. I feel like I've paid £10 because I'm an absolute mark for the club.
Yeah.
To use a wrestling term. If you had told me the under-23s were playing tonight, I probably would have played Football Manager 2021 and just gone, oh, are they? Brilliant. Great.
Yeah.
But because it's the senior team, because it's my club and I love my club, here we are. Lofton Drive says, focus on the league. That's gone well over the last 20 years. That's kind of picking up what you've been saying in regards to extra games. How did it go for Portsmouth and Sunderland? How do you counter that?
Because that was basically a look what good it's done us. It's a true point, but isn't that down to poor management or running in general of the club? What scenario we find ourselves in?
Yes. Yes and no. Steve?
Yeah.
Just a yeah? Just a yeah? Just a yeah? Just a yeah? How about this one? Louis Sharp. Look how many players we have injured that need game time. Before they came back to the first team, we could have used this cup for the reason. Jackson needed minutes. Dobra's on holiday. Jackson and Norwood both need minutes. 11 days break now. Really? Could you have seen an option for having both feature half an hour, maybe?
Yeah. I enjoyed the urgency of these youngsters. The effort and the way they played. I enjoyed watching it. I might be the only one out of us that did. If the first team players with potentially slightly more ability and composure can do the same, but like I say, with more ability, surely that would bode well. As for set pieces, that's for the training field. So, that's something they can look at.
That's fair enough. Rob Pooley, Simpson was awful tonight. Simpson thoughts before we go to, I can see Crunch.
I didn't really get a chance to say it pre-game, but Simpson's never quite been up to it for me. And he just continued. People mentioned that he's better than Hawkins, but that's probably people that are just Hawkins haters. But for me, they're fairly equal in not being amazing. So
I was quite excited to see him, to be honest, because he's shown flashes of what he can do. But tonight he was just all over the place. I'd have rather seen Hawkins start, or at least bring him off and get Norwood or Jackson on after half time, or even for the last 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever it may be. I think the biggest disappointment tonight was Bennett's.
Yeah,
because we've been raving about him starting matches for the first team and looking good for the first team, but I don't know where he was tonight. He didn't really make anything happen. There's a few good things here and there, I suppose, but I think Simpson and Bennett's for me were two big letdowns tonight. I
think it's tough in tonight's sort of environment because if you think about wingers, traditionally they're more impact players. They're more players that drift into games, drift out of games. They don't often run a game. And when you're being asked to be a senior player as a winger, it's a lot tougher because there's a lot more expectation on you. And also when you're trying to play for a shirt, let's not forget that for Keenan Bennett. He is still trying to sort of force his way into the equation at Portman Road. Mike Brown, 100% Lambert's tactics and management. Facebook user, how many players do we actually have? Numbers 53 and 57 coming off the bench, replacing other numbers in the 50s. Yes, you are watching soccer or football, not American football. George 03, Jackson or Norwood up front would have made a difference like a Peterborough last night. I can see Johnny Duncan in the VIP room. I can see Crunch. Oh, Johnny, that's a beautiful shirt. Oh, lovely. Louis Shaw, sorry, you'll just see it in a second, I promise you. Out of context. Louis Sharp, Johnny, come on in before I lose my stuff. That is an awesome looking shirt.
Well, I was kind of a bit concerned then because I wasn't sure if you could see me or not. So, yeah.
Lovely shirt.
I mean, I'm 47 years old, so I'm going to have some good shirts. I mean, in my wardrobe, so,
So is that an original?
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the shirts I'm after. It's one of my favourite shirts.
I always used to buy shirts which were oversized, so in the winter months you could wear them over your hoodies and, wear them on the outside. So now I'm all for the skinnies, and, well, as skinny as I can get into without looking like a Mr. Blobby in a morph suit. But, but yeah, all my old shirts are like large and extra large, and this is one I have the original Green King one with the misspelling, Bury St Edmunds misspelling. I think it was one of the first 100 shirts. So they go on eBay for quite a bit of money. So.
Yeah, it was looking good. So I've got a few people coming in saying being out of this cup is not a bad thing. I've got a few people saying being out of the cup is not a good thing. Where do you stand on tonight's display, cup exit, etc., Johnny?
I don't really care about the trophy, if I'm honest with you. There's benefits for being out of it, but what annoys me is the effort we put in whilst we're in it. It is a joke. I agree with the guys. We're paying £10 for this, and it's not acceptable on any level. It really isn't. I mean, Steve said it. Norwood needs minutes. Jackson needs minutes. It wouldn't have harmed for them to be on the bench tonight and bring them on for half an hour, and it would have given the game a kick up the arse it needed and a bit of experience. But
Johnny, are you what you're listening to us on? Could you just mute it for a second?
Is that because are we echoing big time?
Yeah, we're getting some sort of. I feel like a radio presenter right now. Yeah, can you just turn the radio off?
I can turn it down, but I can't hear you.
Ah, that's an issue.
I need to put my headphones in, don't I? Can you hear me now?
We can, loud and clear.
Is it better?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, much better. I'll bring Cruncher in because Cruncher, I think you've got a completely different point of view to Johnny there.
Why are we all moaning?
Disappointing display.
Clarify. No. Let him clarify that. Clarify that for me.
We all sit here and say we're paying £10. Does any of you on here, did any of us think that we were going to play any different team than that? Because if you do, you need to go and give your head a wobble. Because if you look at the under-23 teams this afternoon, you knew exactly, before you paid that £10, what team we were going to be putting out. And anybody who says Norwood should be playing, Jackson should be playing, no, they shouldn't.
You've got 11 days off, Rich. 11 days off.
They don't need to be playing in this trophy.
The professional football players, they play when the senior club tells them to play. This was a senior fixture. This wasn't an under-23s fixture.
But you said at half-time, this trophy's a waste of time.
Well, of course it's a waste of time. You're going to treat it like this. There is a systematic problem at this football club. We can't win games in any cup, any trophy, any league. We need to stop the rot at some point. This is a non-event.
It's a non-event of a trophy.
Well, then give it to me for free.
Look, £10. Look, nobody was forced to pay £10 tonight. Nobody forced anybody to pay a tenner. So anybody moaning, saying, I've paid £10, it's your own fault because you knew exactly what sort of team we were putting out. I knew what sort of team we're putting out. I expected
a lot of kids. I expected a lot of kids because obviously that seems to be the way with a lot of the sort of earlier cup games. But mix it with a bit of senior players, because
senior players
they got a lot of time.
Senior players play tonight. Norwood gets injured. He's out for 3 months. Everyone will be saying to Lambert, why did he play him? They will, Martin. They will. Because
that's a risk,
Paul Lambert, they will... Look, I'm not his biggest fan. You are. They will beat him with any stick. Tonight, I don't give a toss. We're out. I enjoyed watching the game. There is more important things in the world to moan about than going out the EFL Trophy.
Never thought I'd say that sentence. I wish Matt was here.
I think if any senior players played tonight for 20 minutes, half an hour and got injured, I don't think they'd be moaning at Lambert. I wouldn't be moaning at Lambert. I'd be moaning at what the bloody hell was going on down, anywhere else. Because
Curtis,
you shouldn't get injured playing 20 minutes at Crawley. I'm sorry, but it's,
Let's be honest. How many times have we read players been injured in training? Are they not going to train for the next 11 days?
I am.
How was
and Crunch and Gov? I'm going to call you Gov because this is what your name is on there, Martin. You know me. I'm never lost for words, but I'm still sticking by. I agree with Adam Flatt's comment. I do really think we missed the reserve league big time.
Yes.
Big time, and it's massive that it's gone because that's where you give players minutes to push them up into the first team. And if these cup competitions are of what you have to get the players ready for the league games and the under 23s, and we're struggling.
Silence.
Sorry, I'm just a bit flummoxed at the fact.
But
that
going back to the £10, Martin. Look, fair enough. Everyone's paid it. Fair enough. I want to bring up, and we've had it in the chat before, about we've paid £10. We paid £10 for this, £10 for that. When are the club actually going to come out and tell us what they're doing with our season tickets? You know, Lee O'Neill, silence. You know, it's silence from them. We're still paying through the nose. We're getting shafted for the home games. Yeah, they're giving to us, oh, you're getting it free. No, you're not getting it free. We've already paid for our season tickets, you know. So we're getting stung, whereas people who haven't bought a season ticket, they're winning, aren't they? So what are the club actually going to do about it? I'd like to know.
Well, so would I, and we'll pick that up. It's a very good point, and it's a very serious point, and it's one we have to sort of keep banging the drum about, if you like. But I'm kind of got one eye on tonight now, because it's a bee in my bonnet, if you like. Because I'm looking at that EFL Trophy group stage. We're bottom in a group of Arsenal and the 21s, Gillingham and Crawley. If the expectation was not at least qualification, then there's no standard of anything at this football club.
But we played.
Doesn't matter what team was put out. Doesn't matter what team was put out.
We played the kids tonight. We played the full first team against Arsenal schoolboys, and we lost.
Can you tell me exactly? Which makes tonight even more perplexing, because why do we play a strong team in the middle of a fixture run and then play this team in the middle of a...
Ask your mate who's the manager. Ask your mate who's the manager you think's the king. He's the man. At the end of the day, you said,
the king gets questions.
Look at this bloated squad we've got. There's one person to blame for it. It's the manager. Nobody else.
I disagree.
Is it purely the manager?
I disagree. That's down to the fact... Well, that's down to different regime changes and different 2 or 3 year contracts.
He's been here 2 years. I'm not having it. No. 2 years he's been here, Johnny, isn't he?
You don't put it down to regime changes. Lambert gives Skews another year on his contract. Right?
Steve wanted to see him. Steve wanted to see him tonight.
You can't blame Steve. I know you're a Skews lover.
I will agree that giving Skews another year contract is daft.
You can't.
No,
it's Lambert that give him that contract.
Yeah, I would argue, and I would say that I wouldn't agree with giving Skews another year contracts. As much as I love the guy, I wouldn't give another year deal.
A brilliant servant to the club.
No question about that. But
there's no doubt. But with the midfield and the talent,
I wouldn't go that far, Johnny. I wouldn't say brilliant, average.
Okay, well, he's been a loyal servant to the club.
Yeah, loyal.
And loyalty doesn't mean you're Messi, does it? At the end of the day, so
Don't worry, we got the world-class McGavin. Don't worry about that, guys.
Cole Messi.
I think we're gonna need to tone that down a bit, Crunch, because people are going to get bored of it and they think
take no notice of them. Take no notice of them. Keep banging that drum.
Right.
Because I just report what I see, and
I'm going to bring in Peter Cox now, Crunch. We always love you on this show, but because you disagree with me, I'm just going to remove you. Joking. He was going anyway. Before anyone says anything. Peter, welcome in. What do you make of all of this tonight?
I'm sorry, Martin, but I'm not going to say. I'm going to agree with Johnny and the Crunch there. It wasn't what it was.
We've got some cracking internet tonight.
Got some cracking what?
What did you say?
Sorry?
We've got some cracking internet tonight.
We have, yeah. There's a lot of echoes on this, yeah. I don't know why.
Is it mine?
No, it's really slow on mine as well.
I think it might be your end, because you've frozen a few times.
Me?
No, Johnny, not you. Not you. Peter, what's your point? Peter, rescue us, we're drowning.
No, just it is what it is. It's the Pizza Cup. We're going out of that tonight. But it is the manner in which we went out. As Rich said, though, and it's fair point. If you looked at the team this afternoon, it's no great surprise that all them youngsters were out. I do agree with Steve with the Bennett's point. I mean, he had a perfect opportunity to shine. You know, he was a big fish in the small pond, and he didn't show anything for me at all.
Disappointing, wasn't it? Especially seeing as he'd looked really good playing with the first team. Whether that was partly because he didn't have the service that he got in the first team, because obviously he's got less experienced players to feed off. But I was expecting so much more from him tonight.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Yeah.
So
yeah.
But yeah, it's obviously I'm not angry we've gone out of the cup. Fine, focus on the league. It's just the manner of which we went out. It wasn't even fighting. You know, it was just slow drowning.
And I think that's something we can all agree on, isn't it, Neil? I think we're all in agreement. The exit of the cup necessarily isn't the issue. It was the way we've exited the cup. It's the way that we were. It was there to progress if the club wanted it, and they quite evidently didn't want it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm quite so downbeat about the performance as some others. I can't say that them young lads actually played badly. I thought they actually, especially that second half towards the end, I was quite happy with the effort they put in.
Yes.
It worked hard, especially in the second half.
Are we any... Okay, I'm going to rephrase this. The team tonight, have you learned anything that will help you for Hull City at home or Charlton in the league?
The team tonight, no.
Did
none
anybody...
None of them are going to be playing against Hull. Maybe Bennett's, but the rest are not.
So if we have a major injury crisis, if we have, God forbid, a COVID outbreak, if we have anything, did players that could help you get minutes tonight?
Maybe Brown.
The only thing tonight did was show the likes of me who some of these young lads are and what they can do. Other than that, the people at the club watching them, they already know what we've seen tonight. Or if they don't, there's something wrong.
Okay, so what do you feel about the future? Sat here tonight after watching that, what do you now feel as a Town fan projecting 5 years into the future? Do you feel more confident? Do you feel more happy? I'll ask all of you the same question. I'll start with Neil. We'll go round.
These lads have to push on. What you just saw tonight, okay, fine. You might say some of it was okay and quite good, but they need to push on from here. And in your 5 years' time, Crow was good. I was happy with what I saw of him. Gibbs looked tidy. Saziba, yeah, he was tidy. Manley, for me, was the standout. He was really good. He changed things. He did what Bennett should have done all game, but he never did. Brown was good out on the right. So if all of them push on and can show us that all the time, I'll be a very happy man.
Okay, Peter?
Yeah, it was some encouraging signs tonight, but I think you sum it up. If you're good enough, you're old enough to play in the first team. There was some encouraging performance tonight. The Crow was particularly good. But
I love me some Crow. You know that, Peter.
You love a bit of Crow, yeah.
I certainly do. But you say if you say that old phrase there. But who tonight do you feel maybe that applies to? Anybody?
Yeah. Okay, for me, there was no particularly standout performer, but there's a few there, perhaps.
Okay.
You didn't like the slick passing of Manley? Manley came on and he changed up the centre for me.
Yeah, Peter?
Maybe, yeah, maybe. Okay. Manley.
Johnny?
Crane,
on,
I think. Crane showed good bursts of going forward, and I think sometimes some of his invention wasn't. The players around him weren't up to what he had in his mind and what he wanted to do. So I think that he tried to do the 1-2 and went forward, and then he didn't get it back, and he was a bit gutted about it. And Doa was good at the back. Had quite good feet, better feet than Enciala. So you've got looking at the general picture, these are kids. They had some zip about. They're running about. You can see it when youngsters play. They've got the enthusiasm to chase, and they do the nice stuff sometimes. But for me, there was a lot of passes going astray tonight. A lot. And I think that's one thing that they will take out of this game. They'll watch it back. And I think there was a lot of passes which were just wasted. And if they can learn anything from this game, it will be that. It will be the quality in the pass.
All right,
One
Johnny?
thing that I notice a lot with the passes being wayward is if a midfielder is then trying to get the ball out wide to, say, Crow, the ball goes behind him. He's got to turn around and go get it. That shouldn't be happening for me. At this level.
Lost of momentum, yeah.
So it comes back down to what our friend Mike Brown says about fundamentals and the teaching of fundamentals and what's going on maybe Monday to Friday. Johnny, we love you. We appreciate you. We'll hopefully see you, not the weekend because no game sadly, but next week. Loving the shirt, loving your style. I'm going to bring in Adam Flatt. I refuse to say that name because if that name catches on, that's my surname you're playing around with over there. That's many people. I've been called many things, but Lambert is not one. I do not want it catching on. So, Adam, what is your feeling on tonight's game?
I just think we probably ought to take a minute, step back. I actually think there shouldn't be any knockout football this season. With COVID and the pandemic, I think because there's no supporters, I don't get, what the end goal would be. We get to Wembley and we can't go because of a pandemic. Knowing our luck, if we'd have got a run in the FA Cup, we'd have drawn someone like Norwich away in the third round. We can't go. That's just, that's probably Ipswich's sod law. But I think if it hadn't have been for sponsorship, like Emirates sponsoring the FA Cup, Carabau's involvement in the League Cup. I know Papa John's are involved now. I really don't think there should be any knockout football. Given the condensed nature of the league, given that they're still playing international football, and the fact that there's a Euros at the end of the season, I just can't understand. I just can't understand why knockout football was a thing to start with. So I wouldn't get too worried about tonight, really. It's all about the league games. If we lose to Hull and Charlton, then we've got cause for concern. But I won't worry too much about tonight. What we watched was essentially paying £10 for a glorified under-23, under-18 friendly, basically.
And are you okay with that?
Yeah, because Paul Lambert's basically said that at the start. He's made no bones about what side he'd put out, so I've got no issue with that tonight. But what it does do for Lambert, the pressure's on now. We're out of all the cups. No more distractions. It's all league from here until whenever the season ends. So, that's it. That's what he wanted, obviously. That's what the club wants. They're out of the cups now. So let's see. Let's see how our league form goes.
No excuses now. No excuses.
Is this just not Groundhog Day again, but a month or so behind where we were?
Yeah.
We had this last season. We got knocked out by Exeter. Coming into January, and now here we are again. Concentrate on the league. This is do or die for Lambert now.
Yeah,
I actually generally think if we don't pick up two decent results against Hull and Charlton, then there should be big questions being asked about. And
Shrewsbury?
Yeah, well, Shrewsbury's a given because we'll beat Shrewsbury because that's what we do. That's what we do, don't we? We beat those teams. We beat those lower, middling sides in League One. It's the Hull and the Charlton game where if we don't pick up at least 4 points for me from those two games, prove that we can beat a team in the top six, then I think you've got to start asking serious questions about the manager. If we can't, certainly if we lose both of them, he's got, Marcus Evans has got to take a big, long, hard look and think, is this man the right man to take us forward? But, I think that's a decision we need to make after the Charlton game.
Yeah.
I'm starting to believe he isn't.
With 4 years left on the 5-year contract, is Ebenezer Evans going to say goodbye? No, he's got to pay off 4 years of a 5-year contract.
I don't think that'll be an issue. You see it all the time. Managers getting their contracts bought out. I think I think what's the greater problem for Evans, paying off his contract or letting Lambert carry on? We failed to get promotion and we're stuck in League One for eternity. So I suppose he's got to weigh it up, hasn't he?
And Peter, before I let you go, obviously Adam makes a very good point there. No excuses, that's being put to rest this evening with tonight's cup exit. So looking ahead at the next 3 to 4 games, you've got let's say 3 games. You've got Shrewsbury, Hull, and Charlton. If I had to ask you right now, with an 11-day break, let's say everyone comes through that fit and raring to go, what points total do you think we will head into December with?
After those 3 games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what are we going to get from those 3 games? The maximum you can get is 9. So what do you think as a fan, or what do you want?
Well, obviously what I want is 9 points, but is 9 is the happy total. But honestly, 5.
You think we're going to get 5?
Yeah.
So we're going to beat
Shrewsbury and a draw for the other 2. Yeah.
Okay. And Adam, if that was to come to fruition, do you think that would be seen as a positive in your mind? With obviously Lambert is not something you like, is Lambert, but a draw against Hull and Charlton, 2 big teams, not getting beat. No.
But the question is, and the problem's still going to hang over his head until we beat a team in the top 6, isn't it? It's not going to go away. And then I think we've got Peterborough, haven't we, in December? Peterborough away, Portsmouth at home. Yep. It just rolls on to them next 2. Are we going to beat one of those 2? So I think they've got to win at least one of those games against Hull and Charlton, really. I think they have to try and put this argument to bed. They've got to win one of the games. They have to. So I think, personally, we need 7 points out of those 3 games minimum for me. Because
so you want 7 points? You think 7 points has to be
They can't continue to lose and drop points against their rivals, because it looks like this season you're starting to see a bit of a pattern now, aren't you? You're seeing your Sunderland, Charlton, Hull, Portsmouth. That gap in the top 6 is starting to pull away a little bit. I think you're starting to see a pattern emerge. We can't continue to drop points to those teams and expect to stay there, because you can't expect Ipswich to then beat all the other teams below playoffs down to the bottom, home and away. You can't expect them to win all of them, because they won't. We've seen that they probably aren't good enough to do that. So they're going to have to take some points off rivals. They have to. And if they can't do it against Hull and Charlton, then I think you've got to ask big questions of the manager.
Okay. Right. Well, I appreciate you both Lambert and Peter. Both appreciate you both very much. Thanks for dropping by. Hopefully see you on the next one. I'll bring in... Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Adam. I'll bring in a man that's currently fishing. He is chief driver of the Lambert out train. It is, of course, Mike Brown. Mike Lambert. Mike, fundamentals have been brought up tonight by Neil. It's basic, isn't it? Pass and go.
I mean, I missed the first goal because I was trying to get my iPhone out of work, but the second one was really, really poor defending. And Doe, I don't know what he was doing. I think he was ball watching and just let that player go past him. The formation's wrong, guys. We say it every week. We talk about it every week. Formation's all wrong. It doesn't suit the players that we've got. We need to change the formation. We really do. Again, there was a lovely ball put in from Bennett's at one point, and there was one person in the box. If we've got wingers and we're playing 2 up front, that's 2 strikers in the box, not one, and maybe an attacking midfielder to join him. But again, look, them kids, they went out today, they gave it a go. It was a little bit huffy and puffy. But, I mean, are they going to be, any of them players, Par Bennett's maybe, are they going to make the first team? No, not based on that, I'm afraid to say. I think, am I sad we're out the cup? Not really. I ain't bothered about it because, the reality of it is that, we need to get out of this league. Lambert's got no excuses now. And like you said a minute ago, we've got 3 games coming up. I can only see us getting 3, maybe 4 points max out of that, based on what I've seen so far this season. And the reality is that until we actually start putting a win together, every week we want to, we should be getting wins every week. That's our aim. If we're going to get promoted out of this league, every game should be a FA Cup final game. It should be your last game for the club. You've got to get out there and do the best you can type attitude. Performance-wise, again, like I said, it's the same old thing, boring old passing. 69% possession and 7 shots on goal, 1 on target. Says enough for me, doesn't it?
Yes. Neil, you have to agree with what Mike's saying there, don't you, in terms of balls into the box and there never seem to be a presence in the 18-yard box?
I know there's a disagreement on whether formations actually matter and ability of players being able to play the game. If you're good enough, you're put on the field and you'll play well. And the formation is, I'd say there's different of opinion. I'm similar to you where I believe that formation does matter, but there are people out there that you're thrown out there, you're asked to do a job, just go and play the game. Some say football's not that hard to play. So what we're doing, I couldn't tell you. The Parsons sloppy, control's not always there, needless balls back after we've struggled to get it out of defence, just we'll lump one back into it again. Like whatever they're doing on the training pitch, please just change it up a little.
Okay, all right. And Mike, before I let you go, because the selection
Do you
isn't.
think these?
Go on. No, go on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, we go back to the fundamentals in training, and the reality is, like you say, Neil, that you just have to ask what's being said in training, because or ask the players what the players being trained. I just find it really frustrating that we talk about formation. For me, is really important for a team. If you've got players, you've got a formation set up, and you've got players that that can play well and do well in that, then stick to it. The reality is, from what we've all seen, 4-3-3 doesn't suit our style, doesn't suit the way we're playing, and we're going to lose games playing it like it. For me, and that's. But football's about psychology as well, isn't it? We talk about skills and putting a player out there to play, but if we're losing games, whether it be kids, whether it be under 23s, whether it be under 21s or senior team, the psychological part of the game, that winning mentality is important for teams to do well in this league.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have we got that winning mentality?
Don't think we do.
Because get that by winning games.
Yeah. What I'm asking for is to see basically better football, because I'm not seeing it. But at the end of the day, would a result just be enough? Yes, it would. So if we can steal a win from somehow, fine, do it that way. But come on, guys, I'm asking for basic football. So just get the basics done properly. I'm seeing us being done by teams who just seem to have better touch, better ball control, just better reading of the game. It's just, why are we being outplayed so often?
I can only see us getting about 4 points in the next 3 games. I think Shrewsbury, fine, 3 points. Probably a loss to Hull, maybe a draw at Charlton, 3-4 points really, because other teams just play so much better. It's so much better football than we do. And tonight, I know it was only the kids, but there was so many passes just went awry and crosses into the box, no one there to meet it. And like you say, you just get it out of the defence and you start making progress, and then within 10 seconds, it's right back in there again. And the amount of times they were just passing it back.
Something wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So it's something's not working.
Such high percentage. Sorry.
Mike, before we let you
right.
go, Benjamin just asked.
I'll finish off by saying,
have you caught any good fish?
I'm I'm blanking at the moment.
I'm not going to pretend to know what that means, but all right. Good luck with whatever you're doing.
No, I haven't caught a fish. No. The rods,
Perfect.
the traps are set, and then I'm out on the bank. Look, guys, I know the connection's not great. Thanks ever so much.
Tonight's been an absolute kipper.
And I'll see you Saturday.
Cheers, Mike. We love you. We love you. So, Steve, Neil, to round up, I want to know, obviously, I got yours there, Steve, so I'll just go to Neil here. Your sort of points total for the next three, Shrewsbury, Holland, and Charlton. Rob and Amy on with me on Saturday for Shrewsbury, not this Saturday, the Saturday after. Not that affects the points return, but what do you feel, Neil?
I'd love us to, at the very least, get 6 points, but
6 points.
I'm more under expecting a 4.
So what are you going for? You just said 2 figures. You can't hedge your bets. There's no hedging.
At the bare minimum, I want 6, but I'm expecting 4.
4. Okay. So you're getting beat by somebody. Who are you getting beat by?
It could be either us being beaten by one of the top 6, or it will be us slipping up on someone we should be, or in my opinion, should be beating.
Yeah. And Mike wants to change a formation. Now, that's not new, because Mike's wanted a formation change for a while. In the chat box, we've got a Facebook user with 352 as a suggestion. I've seen 4231 floated. Johnny Duncan says when we're planning the formation to suit the numbers of squad, not the ability. What if you were to change a formation, what would you two both want to be seeing as your formation? Or are you happy with the 4-3-3?
4-3-3 isn't working. It started off okay, but it's not working. As for what we changed to, I don't know. We need to look at the strength that other players have. I mean, the fact that we've now got no Dizelle for the next, because tonight didn't count, did it, against his suspensions? So
no,
we've still not got him for a while. So he needs to pick something that's going to go to the players' strengths. 4-4-2 maybe.
4-4-2 diamond. The Paul Jewell favourite with a midfield of Bowyer, Bullard, Ledbetter. I want to say Ledbetter as well is in that midfield. Neil, what do you want to be? If you maybe you don't want a formation change.
I must admit, I do enjoy a bit of the 4-3-3, but it's not particularly working. Whether it's the formation or whether it's if the players were doing more of what I want them or expect of them, because it's almost that we're lacking ideas. Just the fact that you need to expect your right back or left back to ping a diagonal ball almost every time in order to get anywhere, for it to then either fizzle out or for them to lump it back to the defence, to pass it around the defence, to then us do the same again. If that's all we've got, then that's not the formation for me.
No. Benjamin would like to see us stick to the 4-2-3-1. Offers more defensive solidarity, in my opinion. Wouldn't like to see us switching to a 3 at the back. Louis Sharp wants just back to basics. Wants a Mike Bassett 4-4-2. Don't play it out from the back. We haven't got the talent to do it. We've never been able to play one up top. And I suppose that's where the frustration with the 4-3-3 comes in, isn't it? Because when you haven't got the ball, it is more of a traditional 4-5-1. And when you turn over possession, you have to go from a 4-5-1 to a 4-3-3 very quickly. We're not doing that, are we? We're slowing the transition.
That's where if you're relying on that long upfield diagonal ball, that's going to be quicker than all the players get, or the players being asked to get in the box. They're not going to be able to get there by the time that wide player's got the ball and wants there to be people there. So you're going to have to then have a slightly different style of getting the ball to that man to give the others time to get into position.
Yeah. So the transition isn't good enough, is it?
No.
Which is
that's been our whole season issue.
The problem is purely at manager's door. Everything stops there. These players are good enough. The Crunch has gone 6 points next 3 games, and Harry Butcher's gone 0 points next 3 games. And that is Our play is too slow. Emerson Fairweather, far too slow. So whichever formation we play, we need to have more intensity in our play. Great word that, actually, to end the show. Intensity. Something that's been missing from an Ipswich Town side probably for a long time, if everyone was truthful with themselves. I can't remember the last time any town played under any manager in the last, I don't know. When was the last time you really saw a town side play with intensity? Real intensity. Because even in the playoff years, we were kind of a soaker, weren't we? We were more of a sponge than an intense team. We were more of a we'll sit back and sort of we'll take what you've got and then hit Murphy and bounce back.
When we had Danny Haynes up top,
Oh, Jesus, that's like 06.
Would that be closer to the point that we actually had expectation and this drive? Yeah, this club has died slowly but surely for quite some time.
That comment I could see there from Louis Sharp. No club in the league is worried about playing us. When we came down, people were thinking, oh, God, because obviously big fish, people were worried about playing us. And now they've seen that we just can't beat teams around us. And we're now, basically he's nailed it, haven't we? We're worried about playing teams like that when other teams should be worried about beating us, and they're not now.
No, absolutely.
And tonight didn't help. So bang on.
Louis Sharp has some really good comments tonight. Cheers, Louis. We appreciate your input in tonight's proceedings. Facebook user, we need 2 central strikers who work in combination. Facebook user needs a cutting edge. Facebook user, Mama and Papa Facebook user, must be so proud. The last Lambert match in the Championship against Leeds. Callie, bring back Burley and Sheepshanks. Mike, playoff season, we were pace, power and effort. Reece Curtis, could Hawkins and Jackson work as a front two? Terry, Mrs. Priskin.
He never performed enough for me. He was very much, that was the cup against Arsenal. That is pretty much the only game he ever turned up as far as I ever remember.
And do you know, rumour has it, somewhere, Colin Healy still has Cesc Fabregas in his back pocket. Until next time, my friends, with love, with care.